What's going on, everybody? It's Jack, and today I'm bringing you guys a bit of a mini scheme, albeit it's a fairly long video, but it's still a mini scheme from my West Coast ebook that is going out to all my Twitch subscribers later on this week. So if you are a Twitch subscriber, you will be getting a full ebook this week for West Coast, but if you are not a subscriber and you would like the full ebook, feel free to go over to my Twitch channel, which a link will be down in the description at twitch.tv/jaxr, and you can subscribe or use a Twitch Prime or whatever, and you will get the ebook sent to you that way. But either way, this is a bit of a teaser, an amuse-bouche, if you will, so of the kind of content that you can expect from me in terms of sub-tips and ebooks and that sort of thing moving forward, especially into Madden 21. And so just as a way to give back and to give thanks to all you guys for the continued support on YouTube and on Twitch, I just want to give you guys something for free that you guys can use and just utilize right now, and just so you can kind of see what you can expect from me moving forward in terms of content in that area. But it's a really long video, so there will be timestamps, so don't freak out if you forget something or miss something. You'll be able to go back through with the timestamps for each play within the video, so you don't have to scroll through and find everything individually. You'll be able to navigate it a little bit better. If you guys have any questions, obviously comment section down below, or Twitch chat when I'm streaming, Twitter, DM at me, whatever, so I can answer anything that I possibly can for you guys. But obviously, I tried to answer everything within the video. It's one of the reasons why it's a little bit longer, I think, than you probably would like it to be, unfortunately. But again, this is the kind of content that you guys could expect, and the kind of depth of content that you could expect from me, at least moving forward into Madden 21 and forward from there. But enough about all that. If you guys have questions, obviously follow me on social, all that good stuff. But we are going to jump right into the Singleback Spread out of the West Coast Playbook ebook edition. All right, here we are in the West Coast Playbook. The formation we're going to talk about today is the Singleback Spread formation. Now, the reason why I like the Singleback Spread formation isn't necessarily as a base formation. It's not something that I'm going to come out in all game. It's not something I'm going to run all game long. However, it is a really good formation to mix in with your already existing scheme. If you're in West Coast, you are obviously running Gun Bunch. And if you're running Gun Bunch, your opponent has to defend it a very specific way. So if they come out to defend Gun Bunch and you audible down to Singleback Spread, which you can because it's all the same personnel grouping, it'll make your opponent defend this in a very different way, and it's going to cause them to have to make a whole bunch of adjustments, and it's going to annoy your opponent to have to defend this and Gun Bunch at the same time. Today we're going to talk about 4 very specific plays in this formation: zone alert bubble, PA slot crosses, deep outs, and smash corners. Now, they all have their own uses within the formation, within the little guide. They all have very specific uses, so don't think that this one play is going to beat every coverage. Don't think that this one setup is going to beat every coverage. They all have uses within the confines of the offense, so you're going to want to understand when and why you're calling the plays in question. And as you can see by the audibles, 3 out of 4 are already set. So we're going to just change slant flats to deep outs. So now you have all 4 plays in your audibles, so now you don't have to worry about not coming out in the right play or not being able to access all the plays in the formation. We are going to start with deep outs because it is quote-unquote my base play. It's the one play that I call the most often out of this formation. It's the one play that if I were to come out in this formation to start the game, I would call deep outs. So in regards to how I would run the offense, this formation runs through deep outs. So we're going to call deep outs. And on defense, we're going to show you guys deep outs versus cover 3 sky. Now, cover 3 sky against this works very well. Not really. Cover 3 sky is the idiot defense. So if people don't know how to play defense, don't know what to call, they're going to call this and hope that their stock coverage just does enough to slow you down and annoy you with your offense. However, deep outs destroys this. Those stock out routes are cover 3 killers, like plain and simple. We're going to get 10 yards pretty much every time. Little possession catch on the sideline, 10, 12 yards. What's cool about those deep outs is that they are a little deeper than your hot routed, smart routed out routes. And you can run it to the short side too. However, it's easier to complete to the wide side, which is why I just say the deep out to the wide side is probably the one you're going to go with. But you could just as easily go to the other hash mark and run it the same way and just throw the other out route. It's really, really that simple. Boom, little possession catch, almost 15 yards. It's really that simple. However, there's a reason why we're on this hash. The reason why we're on this hash mark is because when you get into the other adjustments. The other thing that you can do is look at the slot routes. The tight end route is on a little shallow cross, and that's a really good quick throw, really good quick possession catch, pick up about 3-5 yards. And that deep post to Edelman breaks fairly deep down the field, right? It's at like the 30, as opposed to the hot route post, which breaks at the 40. So you can see the angle changes dramatically by about 10 yards. So the deep one, that is the stock version, is just more difficult for the user to defend. However, the hot route one, if you have a slot apprentice or hot route master, is better at breaking across the field. So that one definitely has its uses as well. If you are interested in learning those, towards the end of the video, there'll be a timestamp for universal setups where I kind of go over like what hot route variations of stuff that you can do out of any play, as opposed to play specific stuff, just because I don't want to bog down the timestamps with a bunch of different versions of things that you could do out of any play. But anyway, that little A route, right? We can snap it. He gets underneath the zone, possession catch, 5-6 yards, just like that. Real simple, real easy. Nope, don't worry about it, right? Now, we could do it against cover 2 as well. However, cover 2, that vert hook does bump the tight end. So you'll want to make sure that he doesn't get bumped. Now, you can see that vert hook does shoulder check him a little bit, so it's not the best to throw that. So off the snap, if he gets bumped, don't throw A. If he gets a free release, you could throw A underneath. But if they were to run cover 2 flipped like this, he's going to get a free release now, right? Now, if he gets a free release like this, that A route is going to get nice open underneath still. It gets underneath most zones, but it does get bumped against vert hooks. So you can see, once he gets underneath, easy yardage. Just got to make sure he clears underneath the zone. If he clears underneath the zone, it's the right decision just to throw it, pick up your yardage, move on to the next play. Also, we can start motioning guys out of this, right? So you can motion Watson across. Now you can see he's on this little slant out looking thing, right? Now I would streak the outside guy, keep the post because the post is good. Now you have the backside out route versus cover 3, but you also have a option now to throw that A route once he clears that purple zone at the sideline, just like that. Now, if they start running cover 2 on you, you can still do the same thing, where you motion this guy over. Now you want to run this to the short side of the field, just because it makes more sense to run to the short side of the field. It's a flat route. Think of it like a Texas route, like a flat route to the halfback. You want to run it to the short side. It just makes it better because it's a quicker read. As you can see, underneath. Once he clears, you throw it, possession catch. The streak route's supposed to pull the cloud flat. Now you can run it to the wide side, like just the same. You can run it to the wide side. Now this is against cover 3, so you can see wide side versus cover 3. It's a little harder to complete because that purple zone, you're gonna have to pass lead it up over the top. So again, harder decision to make, harder read. The goal is to not make the read tough for you. So you want to make sure that you're doing the right play versus the right coverage. That's a big part of this, is understanding when to make the right decisions. And that's something you just got to kind of learn and kind of accept that you're not going to get everything right the first couple times, but as you run the formation more, you'll get more comfortable with the reads. As you can see, now we're to the wide side again against cover 2. Against cover 2, wide side, it's not the best read, right? Corner jumps underneath it. It's tough, right? So there's a reason why we run it to the short side. It's because it gives the defense less time to recover. And because the defense gets less time to recover, it's an easier throw for you to make. So keep in mind, motion trips to the short side. I know it sounds weird. However, it keeps the out route to the wide side. So that's why we do it, because it keeps the out route to the wide side of the formation. Because as you can see, we do that motion, but that out route is still there, and you can still complete that. And keep in mind that the out route does work versus cover 4 as well. So I'll show you guys that real quick, because people do run cover 4. People run a lot of cover 4, so I want to show you guys that those out routes do work versus cover 4 drop show 2, because people run cover 4 drop show 2. So cover 4 drop show 2. We're going to run that out route, and you're going to see that out route just the same, wide open, boom. Now, also cover 4 drop show 2, that tight end route will get open as well. Now, if they're blitzing you, even better. But let's say they're not blitzing you, right? Let's say they are playing coverage. That tight end route is going to get underneath that zone. Tom Brady has terrible pass lead. So you saw he was open. Unfortunately, Tom Brady's abilities in regs make him a terrible quarterback. However, you can see that Ben Watson was open. He gets underneath, little possession catch, boom. Can't pass lead it in practice mode with Tom Brady, so it makes it harder. However, you can see it still works. Now, if they blitz you out of cover 4 drop show 2, which is also bound to happen, right? Let's say they are blitzing you out of this, right? Like something like this, right? They are blitzing you. Well, if they're blitzing you, that A route is still a very good choice, because now there's nobody there to stop him. There's nobody there. It's a literally like snap, throw, like A, go. Now, again, if they are blitzing you, and they will, because they see no tight end in the formation that can block. So they might pull the guy down here to use this, right? And if they start doing that, well, we have another receiver on the left side that is capable of catching the ball too, right? So we could put Edelman on a hitch route and snap, throw the hitch route, just like that. Pick up your yards. Don't really worry about a touchdown against the send 7, right? But pick up your yards, move on to the next play, keep the chains moving, right? Like that's the goal of this formation, is keep the chains moving. The other option would be to put Edelman on a whip route instead and snap throw the whip route when he breaks inside. That's almost better than the hitch route, just because of the angle that he catches it at. So either way, hitch, whip route, snap throw it, Edelman. Other option to beat the blitz, so now they can't user both guys. All you got to know is which one they're usering. If you have identifier on a quarterback, you'll know who they're usering. If you don't have identifier, you just have to make the read post snap and then throw to whichever slot receiver isn't being user covered accordingly. And that is how you beat the blitz out of this formation, at least with one passing concept. All right, so the second play we're going to talk about here is PA slot crosses. Again, it has 4 unique routes on it, which are really cool. However, this is really a primary way to beat cover 2. Just as deep outs was a primary way to beat cover 3 and cover 4, PA slot crosses is a great way to beat cover 2. So we're going to show you guys cover 2. We'll go big nickel cover 2, just because it's big nickel cover 2. Baseline. Now, as you can see here, Dorsett is on that bent fade route, right? That bent fade, that outside fade, that sock fade, whatever you want to call it, is really good at beating cover 2. It's also really good to swerve catch for a one-play touchdown, or at least possession catch for a really big gain on the sideline. If you guys don't know how to swerve catch, I highly recommend checking out my video on my channel on how to swerve catch. It's kind of goes down how to catch that route, corner routes, post routes, drags, slant, like everything. Like how to swerve everything, how to make sure you get better animations with it, and how that kind of impacts the receiver and the animations you get accordingly. But against cover 2, we're going to look to Dorsett. We're just going to get rid of the play action. And we're going to just snap it. We're going to wait for him to clear that cloud flat. He clears that cloud flat. We load up a little rack. He doesn't get a perfect animation, but you see he catches it deep down the field, sideline, easy catch. If we possession catch it, we don't take a hit. We guarantee the catch, but still, it doesn't change anything. The other cool thing about this play is that Watson is essentially on that same shallow cross that he was on from deep outs, so we can still rock that quick throw if he doesn't get bumped. So as you can see, Watson, he gets bumped there, but once he gets underneath, he can try to possession catch it. Again, like I said, Watson getting bumped changes things, But if we're against cover 2, we don't really care about that route because we have the fade to Dorsett already. So we're not really focused on a blitz beating route or a zone beating route over the middle if we have the cover 2 beater with Dorsett out wide. As you can see, once he kind of clears the cloud flat, we throw it towards the sideline. Nice, wide open, easy catch. Defender doesn't get over there in time. And Tom Brady doesn't have a good arm in regs. So, like, he doesn't have 99 throw power. Dorsett doesn't have 99 speed. So in MUT, you're going to have a much better time completing that, regardless of who you're using at this point in the year. Now, the other thing you can do is beat the blitz with this, right? So they're in cover 2. We're going to show against the 3-4 cover 2 just because people are going to blitz you out of 3-4 cover 2 more than they're going to out of big nickel, obviously. So we're going to go PA slot crosses. They are going to blitz you, right? They are going to do something like this. This is the setup, right? This is their cover 2 blitz setup. Now the cool thing is that you still have Ben Watson on that little shallow cross. We could put Julian Edelman on a hitch route again or a whip route again. Either way, to beat the blitz, we see which one the user's on. We throw it the other way. So in this case, we're going to snap throw Ben Watson. Nice, quick read, quick 5 yards. That's how you beat the blitz. That's how you force their user to make decisions. So then guess what? They're going to do the same thing, right? Like, this is how you beat the blitz. This is the universal way to beat the blitz out of this play. Oh, look, he's going to bring this guy down to cover Ben Watson, right? He's going to just kind of lurk right here. Oh, you're going to snap throw this? Okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to user this. Well, we still have Julian Edelman over there on that whip route that we can snap throw when he breaks inside. Quick 5 yards. Oh, he broke a tackle. Maybe get like a first down. Great. Or maybe, just maybe, right? Because people are weird. People do things that they shouldn't do, right? Maybe they're going to take this guy. They're going to user this guy down the gap like this. Like, they're going to get real aggressive because it's like, okay, he thinks I'm blitzing. He's going to quick throw this. Everybody's going to drop into coverage. But you still have the backside route with that deep fade that gets by the cloud flat, and then no one's there to defend him, and then you get a touchdown that way. So no matter what your opponent does, you're going to have an answer for what they do in this play. Now, you can, again, do something similar to deep outs, where you motion this guy across. And if you motion this guy across, you still get that little shallow slant out, right? And the cool thing is you have Julian Edelman on another crossing route backside, and then you can just snap it, wait for him to kind of get open. Nice slow possession catch, like 5 yards, 6 yards. So it works the same way, right? Now, I don't recommend flipping this and running the fade to the short side. It just doesn't work the same. Like, it just doesn't work the same. Mostly because the deep half from the safety. Let me just get to the deep half. This guy right here in the deep half, he has a lot less field to cover. And because he has less field to cover, he'll be able to get over there and make that catch a lot harder to make. Even if he beats the guy at the line of scrimmage, which he will, because the route beats the guy at the line of scrimmage. This guy out here has less ground to cover, so he'll be in position to make a play. So that's why you run the fade to the wide side of the field, not the short side. Keep that in mind. Like, so don't run it flipped. But you can flip it if you want, and then just kind of do like one of these setups that we talked about before, right? Where you motion him over, and you have Watson doing something like that, and then you see if Edelman gets open underneath. He does. Maybe I can throw a possession catch, do something like that. But it's easier to do that to the short side and keep the fade to the wide side, just like you keep the out route to the wide side. And because they're going to use cloud flats to defend the out route, then you go to this and you hit them over the top. All right, so the next play we're going to talk about is going to be smash corners. Smash corners is really cool because it's symmetrical. It has double hitches on the outsides, which are unique because a lot of plays don't give you hitch routes, and you can't hot route them to hitches, because if you hot route them, they go to smoke screens, which they have a use as well. If you guys need to know how to utilize smoke screens better, it is one of the most underutilized hot routes in the game. I'll have a video down in the description that I posted a couple weeks back on how to utilize smoke screens. But we're going to focus on the hitch routes right now, because hitch routes do different things than smoke screens would. So we're going to go smash corners. We're going to show you against cover 2. Primarily, we're going to go pinch dog 2 press. The cool thing is that we're not really concerned with cloud flats or soft squats. it really doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. Cloud flats or soft squats, we're just going to go to this hash mark just because right-handed quarterback throwing across the body, different things like that. It's better this way. But what makes the hitch routes really good are that those soft squats don't matter. And you'll understand why in a second. If they are blitzing, obviously, I'm not blitzing here just so I can get the examples off. But if they were blitzing, we could do a lot of different things. Like we could put Watson on a whip route and snap throw to Watson. We could put Edelman on a hitch route as well and have like double hitches out there if we really wanted to. However, we don't need that. For this example, we are going to focus on Sanu on the left side, and we are going to snap it, wait like a half a second, and just kind of throw a low ball to him, and he's going to get underneath that zone, and it's going to be an easy catch. Zone vacates the receiver, easy catch, don't have to worry about it too much. You can do it to this other side as well. However, the short side read is a little easier to make, especially if they're base aligned. If they're not base aligned, like this, if they for whatever reason aren't base aligning you, or they're running like big nickel or whatever, and they're doing something like this, then you can obviously go to the wide side a little easier. As you can see, Dorsett, he's going to go up. You're going to low ball it. Boom, 5 yards. Nothing crazy, but your opponent's not going to know how to cover that because they're going to think cloud flats are supposed to do it, or they're going to start using hard flats, and if they start using hard flats, then that's when we can catch them with other things, because hard flats don't defend anything other than hitch routes and smoke screens and drag routes from across the field. So we are going to show you guys now against cloud flats. We're just going to go Tampa 2. Tampa 2 like this, right? Like simple Tampa 2 press. Okay, boom, right there, right? Okay. That's Tampa 2. We're not blitzing just for the examples because we know how to beat the blitz already. But we're going to throw that hitch route again. Plain and simple, we're going to throw that hitch route again because that zone vacates. That zone vacates the hitch route. All right, so now we're going to start looking at smash corners against cover 3. As you can see, we're against cover 3. If we're in cover 3 on defense, the corners will get open. The reason why the corners will get open is because those hitch routes are going to distract the purple zones, and then you're going to be able to throw the corner routes over the top and underneath the deep blue. You know, if my offensive line blocks. Anyway, we're going to block the running back. We're going to base align. We're going to set it up very similar to how we would normally. We are going to now throw to Julian Edelman, who's going to be wide open against the cover 3. Just kind of simple in front of the zone, but the purple zone goes to the hitch route. We can go into the replay real quick just so you can see. Purple zone. He's in a curl flat, and now he's playing the curl, which then opens up the corner because he gets in front of that guy, and then you just kind of level him off. Nice little possession catch right there. Same thing works to the other side as well, wide side or short side. This doesn't really matter. In this case, obviously, Ben Watson is really slow, so I'm going to probably have a much harder throw because Ben Watson is not fast enough to really make this. But you can throw it to the wide side. As you can see, he just needs to possession catch it in front of the guy because he's not going to get to the sideline like Edelman will because he's on the short side. So short side, wide side, it works, but you have to throw it differently. The other thing you can do out of this, which is a lot of cool things, is keep the short side smash, right? Keep the short side smash, but then we can motion this guy across. And then we motion this guy across. Maybe we drag this guy, right? So now we can have something like a post drag for little levels going on over there, but then we have the smash concept on the backside. So now we have a lot of other options. Now we took the concept, but now we opened up the play a little bit more to force the opponent to use or something different. So then we just kind of see right off the snap, hey, drag route's open. Okay, cool, hit that. So that's one of those little like variations that you can do, obviously, to make things harder. You can still motion this guy across the other way and do the same thing if you want, like that, right? Like you can do something like that, and then you can do something like that. However, again, now we're going to the wide side with it, which creates different problems because of the speed of the tight end. However, it does create different matching concepts and different zone responsibilities because it's a trip set. So when you make it a trip set, it does change different people's responsibilities accordingly, which made Watson get even wider open than he would have otherwise. So as you can see, we do something like that, and then we baseline. Now what should happen is Watson should get open. However, that hook curl should only be able to go after Edelman because Edelman's on a post. And you should see Watson basically isolating one-on-one with that corner right there for a nice possession catch. All right, so the last play in the formation that we're going to show you guys before we get into the universal concepts that we can kind of do is zone alert bubble. Now, this formation, I don't really run the ball a lot, to be fair. I don't. It's good to kind of keep your opponent honest, but in all honesty, if you're running this formation, chances are they're going to try to blitz you. And unfortunately, you don't really have the ability here to throw the bubble screen with effectiveness consistently enough. You can throw it to the short side or the wide side. I recommend the wide side. So run the ball to the short side, but throw to the wide side. And you can complete it. It's definitely possible. However, you run a high risk of getting sacked before you throw it. It's just not great. It's good to keep your opponent in check. It's good to kind of make your opponent understand that that is an option that you will go to try to get yardage. But you have better ways to beat the blitz than that. Like, honestly, like it's just not something you need to do. However, if it's a front like this and you see like, okay, like they're kind of spread out here, like, yeah, sure, run the ball, pick up a few yards, like maybe make somebody miss. Like, James White isn't the fastest guy in the world, so maybe like a better running back like gets more yardage. Like, here we go, like pick 5 yards, maybe 3-4 yards, whatever it is. Like stuff like that, like, okay, fine. Like that's when you run the ball. But they're doing this. If they're doing this to you, I would not run the ball. Like, you don't have the personnel in to defend that. So why not go to something like this and complete the pass and get yardage that way, as opposed to try to run the ball and be stubborn and not be able to even throw the RPO because you're going to get sacked before you can turn around to throw it. That's just my 2 cents, but it is nice to have a run play in your formation, and that is the most consistent run given the proper front. But obviously, if they're blitzing you, if they're stacking the box, I don't recommend using this. It's just nice to have in there. It's nice to keep your opponent honest, keep your opponent in check. All right, so the last thing we're going to get into is kind of the universal concepts, the universal setups, like the stuff that are really hot route centric, not really like the play centric stuff. Now, obviously, we're going to come out in deep outs right now, just because, like I said, this is the play that I kind of base everything out of. However, like I said before, this is going to be the universal setup stuff, right? Like, this is the stuff that you can pick any play and use these conceptually in that, right? In order to move the ball. Now, if they're blitzing you like this, right? We've already gone over the blitz setups, right? You have that little A route, you put Edelman on a whip route, and you throw to one of them if the throw is accurate. Tom Brady in practice mode isn't exactly the guy to prove a point here. Tom Brady isn't exactly the guy to prove a point. However, that whip route is definitely still the option to beat the blitz, in addition to that little crossing route, that shallow cross to the tight end. So you have ways to beat the blitz. So you can do that pretty much out of any play, right? You could have a whip route on one side, you can have a hitch route on the other, something like that, and then you can beat the blitz that way. So it's really not a matter of having to run that play to beat the blitz. You can call any play and do something like a whip and a hitch and complete it and pick up yardage and beat pressure that way without blocking anybody. It's really nice, really easy to do. Now, conceptually speaking, right, let's say we want to start utilizing our halfback more, because we haven't really utilized our halfback at all in this scheme whatsoever. Wide side of the field, if you put the halfback on a wheel route, he'll always wheel to the wide side, so keep that in mind. Now you can keep that little stock slant route going over the middle, that little shallow cross, right? And you have Dorsett on that little deep out route. And now you can kind of throw that wheel route when he breaks up field, right? Little possession catch, something like that. Almost like mesh post, right? Like that little mesh post baby wheel. You can do something like that. Or you can get a little bit more creative, maybe. And you can get rid of this guy entirely. Now you can do that concept on the backside with the streak and that little slant out. But then we have a wheel out route on the right now. And then you can still do that little wheel out route as he breaks up field, maybe rack it instead because that purple zone drifts out wide. And that's how you kind of do something like that. Now, in addition to all that, right, so now we start working the halfback in. So now they're going to have to start defending that. You can also put a guy on a post route, either guy on a post route. It really doesn't matter, whichever slot guy you want, hot route posts. And then you can put one on a hitch. So you have a post and a hitch. That post and a hitch combo is really good. Hitch is really good against beating the blitz, and then the post is really good at beating some man coverage and just kind of getting open down the field. So we can just kind of go off of that right now, so you can kind of see how that hitch route sucks down the zone. Hitch route sucks down the zone. Post route over the middle, open, catch. Now, obviously, Ben Watson isn't the fastest guy. Like I've said enough times in this video, but you can see that the hitch route sucks down the zones, opens up over the top for that post route. You can do it the other way too, which might actually be better because now you have Julian Edelman on a post and Ben Watson, who doesn't need to be fast to run a hitch, on the hitch. And you can see he runs the hitch, he sucks down the zone over the top, possession catch. Obviously, the user safety was not moving, but that still gets open because that safety isn't really going to stand here. He's going to drift back, or he's going to try to user something, and whoever he goes to user, you go a different way. The other things you can do out of this would be to just kind of put somebody on a post, anybody on a post, somebody on a drag, somebody on a streak, something like this. So you have a nice like high-low with a guy pulling a safety deep. This really is going to get the drag route open or the post route open. And again, you still have that backside out route in case the backside out route is open. So just keep in mind that backside out route always is there just because it's nice to have a last option or a first option if you read that that's going to be the route that's going to get open. This is really one of those formations where you have a lot of choices and you can run it how you want, and depending on what your progressions are, being different than my progressions, you might hit that out route more frequently, even if you have other setups going on. That out route might be your last read if you have other setups going on. It's really dependent on what your opponent's doing defensively and what they're trying to take away from you and how you want to react and beat it accordingly. Something else you can do, obviously, would be to kind of go to, like, let's say, smash corners, right? But we're going to run a smoke screen instead. Now, smash corners with a smoke screen, what's cool about this is that smoke screen is going to distract a lot of nothing, and he's just going to be open, pick up a few yards that way. Now, the difference here, which is something that you're going to want to learn, is if they press against the smoke screen. And I do talk about this in my smoke screen video. However, I want to show you what happens when they press the smoke screen. Out of a deep quarter, that deep quarter still runs back, vacates, just runs away, doesn't even react, does not care about the smoke screen at all, right? Which is cool because now that gives you the ability to throw the smoke screen all day long. Like it's a fail safe, right? It's a fail safe route. Like, in the event that your opponent is doing something that you don't know and you put a smoke screen somewhere on the field, it's a nice option to have because it's going to get open regardless. Maybe you do something like this, a backside drag, have a smoke screen opposite the drag route, snap it, wait a second, throw it, boom, juke. Oh, look, that's a touchdown off of a smoke screen against Blitz 7. Something like that. Anything like that. You can create smash concepts out of anything with the smoke screen as well. Like we can go deep outs, right? But now we can put, let's say we put Watson on a corner route and we smoke screen Dorsett like that. Now we have a smash concept like that right there. Oh, look, we just wait for the zone to clear. Door set gets open. Boom. That's how we smash concept against the cover 4. Maybe the corner route gets open too. Who knows? But now we're going to get into how we can pick up pressure without doing like the quick throw stuff. We know how to beat the pressure, but now here's how we pick up the pressure. Now, this is the more advanced stuff, but this is kind of how a lot of people have been running other formations this year, so it's not anything new. However, I want to show you guys what we do. We slide protect away from whichever way we're motioning. In this case, we're going to motion the tight end, so we're going to slide away from the halfback to the tight end side. We're going to ID this guy because we want our halfback to pick him up ultimately. And now we're going to motion the tight end in. We motion the tight end in. We're going to snap it right there. And as you can see, we just picked up the pressure. Now, I don't have the ability to roll out with Tom Brady or anything like that, but the initial pressure is picked up. I didn't actually have any route combos or anything to really like demonstrate. I just wanted to show you guys that we can still block 7. And when we block 7, we do have the ability to throw the ball. That would actually have given me more than enough time to throw the out route if I had thought about it. I just wasn't thinking because I was really just showing you guys how we pick up pressure out of this. But now we can show you one more time that we can, in fact, pick up the pressure out of this the same way everybody else does against everything else. We slide protect away. We ID on whatever way we want. We motion the tight end in, and then we snap it when he's right at the tackle. And then we hit that out route, boom. And then whatever blitz they're doing, there we go. That still works. Now, we can still do it to the other way too, but it's a little less likely because Julian Edelman is now going to be our blocker, unfortunately. However, it still works fine. We're going to slide away from the side that we're motioning. So as you can see, we're going to slide to the right. We're going to ID the guy far on the right, and then we're going to motion Edelman in, and we're going to snap it when he's like right there. And again, we pick up the pressure pretty easily. For whatever reason, Tom Brady can't throw it over the offensive line, but that worked out pretty well too. Actually, that almost looked like a cleaner pocket because the way the offensive line slid protection perfectly. But as you can see, everybody was accounted for, and then we have guy getting open over here, guy getting open over here, guy getting open over here. And if you have Mike Vick, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Russell Wilson, you have golden tickets, whatever. You're able to pick up the pressure, and now we're going to be able to roll out, and we're going to be able to run the ball with a quarterback now, as opposed to just trying to throw the ball on the slant route like that. So not only can you, in fact, beat the blitz by passing the ball, but you can, in fact, pick up the pressure if you absolutely have to. But I think that's going to do it, guys. Again, I know it's a lot of content. I know it's a lot of information. But keep in mind, I will have all the timestamps down below so you guys can go through each play specifically. And obviously all those little universal things, especially the pass protection stuff at the end. I know that's the most important part. But if you guys have gotten to this point in the video, I highly appreciate it. And if you guys want the rest of the West Coast ebook, subscribe to my Twitch channel because that is going out to all Twitch subs early this week at the time of posting this video, but it will be available to all Twitch subs going forward. So if you subscribe later on and you want the ebook, I can send you guys the link to it regardless of when you subscribe, but it will be live for everybody this week. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, I'm out.